That's what the board wants. And we will give the universe and the board what it wants. Hi everyone, my name is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today I'm coming to you with my June TBR, featuring my TBR game, Timmies TBR. This is the third time I played my Timmies TBR game. I started it 2 months ago. I will link the playlist above if you want to go back and see the rules or the past couple of months and see how the game has played out. But basically, I use a board based off Tim Hortons because I love Tim Hortons coffee and it's kind of become part of my brand at this point. So I made a board based off Timmy's coffee and use it to pick my books for the month. Before we dive into this month's rolls, let me show you how last month went and if I've read the books that I needed to read. Now I will say I'm filming this about a week early, so there are 2 books that I have not read yet, but I think I'll read them before the end of the month. If I don't, I will roll them into next month. That's my punishment. I had People We Meet on Vacation for a library book. I have read that and gave it 3 stars. Hellbent was to steal a book off someone else's TBR. I have not read Hellbent as a filming. Fireborn was a debut author. I ended up giving that 5 stars. Children of Blood and Bone was another debut author, as that was a doubles roll, and I gave that 3 stars. The Maidens was my mood read, and I still have yet to read The Maidens, but like I said, I have time left in the month. But if I don't get to Hellbent or The Maidens, I will roll those over into next month, and they will also have to get read on top of what Timmy's TBR picks out this month. Now that we've gone through all of our housekeeping, let's jump into roll 1 and see what Timmy's TBR has in store for us for June. Roll number 1 is a 7, a coffee space, French vanilla, book set in Europe. Roll number 1 was a coffee space and gave us French vanilla, book set in Europe. For this, I'm going to put on a book that I will be reading because I am participating in Once Upon a Readathon, which is hosted by Hannah Blackwell. I will tag Hannah down below. Hannah is doing a month-long readathon based off fairy tale retellings. I love a fairy tale retelling, and I joined Team Mermaids. So I have plans to read a lot of mermaid-based books this month because I just feel like that's fitting. I just feel like that's what I should do. So I'm going to be reading The Mermaid and Miss Hancock by Imogen Hermes Goward. This book follows John. John is a owner of a basically shipping fleet, and one night he's woken up to a very loud knocking at his door. One of his captains has come back from a trip and has sold John's ship in order to receive something in exchange. And he is there to present John with what he's come back with, and that is a mermaid. It is an infant with a fish tail, with claws and teeth, and it is dead. Word gets around that John has a dead baby mermaid, and lots of things happen. I just think it's an interesting take on mermaids, that it's kind of like this wicked thing with teeth and claws, and I'm interested to see what that means. I'm kind of guessing from the synopsis that this world doesn't know that mermaids existed until this time. So I think it's going to be an interesting read and perfect for Team Mermaids. It's also set in London, so it works perfectly for this prompt. Roll number 2 is a doubles 12. Is an iced coffee space. Oh, witchy book. Roll number 2 was a double iced coffee space for witchy book. So that means if we roll doubles, we have to do the prompt twice. So that means I need 2 witchy books on this TBR. Both of these books mention witches in the synopses, so I think they're gonna count. I may be stretching the prompt a little bit, but it's my game, my rules, and we're gonna do it anyway. But witches are mentioned in the synopsis, so that counts for a witchy book, right? The first one is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. Winnie wants to join the Luminaries, which are hunters that hunt the monsters that awaken in her world every single night. Her father was disgraced and shunned by the community when they found out he was a witch. See? witchy book. Her father was a witch. So we're going with it. Now Winnie wants to help redeem her family by joining the Luminaries and becoming one of the hunters of this society. That is pretty much all that I know about this book, but I've heard amazing things about it from people that I respect their opinions on it, and I'm excited to dive in. This is the first book in the series, but it's the only book out right now, so like if I read it now, I'll be caught up, which there are very few series that I'm currently caught up on, so that's exciting, even though it's only one book. The other witchy book I plan on reading is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young, another book that was very popular during the spooky season when it first came out, and I've heard fantastic things about. I'm a big witchy book fan. That's why this prompt is on my game in the first place. So I'm excited to be putting this on this TBR. This book follows Emery. Emery had her best friend murdered 14 years ago, and her boyfriend August was accused of the murder. 14 years later, Emery has moved to this island and has started working at Blackwood's Tea Shop, herbal tonics and tea leaf reading. And there is magic in the society and things are happening. There's starting to be a change in the magic and in the atmosphere, and they don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, August shows up in Emery's life after 14 years. I've heard the atmosphere in this book is fantastic. I can't wait to experience it for myself. Rule number 3 is a 9, a coffee space, a book with a weapon on the cover. Rule number 3 gave us a coffee space with weapon on the cover. I will be continuing a series that I started fairly recently, and that is The Realm of the Elderlings, with book 2 in the Farseer trilogy, which is Royal Assassin. And as you can see, he has some sort of battle axe in his hand, so that's 100% a weapon. This is a series by Robin Hobb. I started it a month or 2 ago. Really enjoyed the first book. I gave it 4 stars. It was a really good starting off book for this series. It really got us to know the people and this world system very well, so I'm excited to continue. This series follows Fitz. Fitz is the bastard son of one of the princes of this land. Fitz grows up on a farm and then around the age of 6 or 7 is dropped off at the palace and basically left because he is this bastard. He is then raised by one of the stable hands that is very close to the prince. Soon they realize that Fitz actually has the power that all of the royal family has, called the skill, where they can communicate with their minds. He also has a power that is looked down on in this society called the wit, where he can connect minds with animals. And like I said, that's really all that happens in the first book. We just kind of get to know Fitz, get to know his uncles and this king and the magic system of this world. And that's really it. The first book is definitely a laying out of what's going to come, getting you to know the characters and the main players, and like I said, the magic and political system. So I'm excited to continue with Royal Assassin and see what comes next for Fitz. Fitz was now a teenager when we left him last, so I'm excited to see kind of what happens in Fitz's world now. Rule number 4 is a 3. That is the first time we've landed on this spot, and that means we have to go to my series wheel spinner. Rule number 4 gave us a series spinner wheel. I have every series that I'm currently planning on continuing on a spinner wheel. I think there are about 50 series on this spinner wheel. I am not good at continuing series. I'm horrible at it. And lately I've been starting a lot of series for various videos, and the list is just getting longer and longer and longer. That is why there are 3 series wheel spinner spaces on this board, because I need to work on some series desperately. So anyway, I have spun the wheel. I will put it here. I will put this spin here, and it landed on the Cousin O'Dwyer series by Nora Roberts. This is another witchy book. The board wants me to read witch books this month. That's what the board wants. And we will give the universe and the board what it wants. And thankfully, this is the last book in the series. So I actually will be finishing a series this month, which is very, very exciting. Like I said, this is a witch book and the 3rd book in the series, and it's called Blood Magic. This follows a family who about 300, 400 years ago were targeted by a very dark witch. The mother of this family tried to banish this dark witch and did it mostly. His spirit is still able to kind of have an incorporeal form. Her 3 children survived this, she did not, and had the power of basically 3 and had animal companions to help fight off this spirit. In every generation, their 3 powers are inherited by 3 more members of this family in the power of 3. We are now very many generations past, following the new 3, which is Iana and her 2 cousins, Charlie and Brianna. They also have 3 friends who help them, and between the 3 friends and the 3 cousins, there are some romances. Each book kind of follows one cousin and the romance, as well as them banishing and fighting against this evil power. The first book followed Iona, the second book followed Charlie, and the third book follows Brana and Finn, and I'm so excited to read Brana and Finn's. Finn is actually a descendant of the dark power in the dark family. Brana and Finn dated when they were teenagers before they found out Finn was a descendant of this family. Brana cut it off because obviously, how can you be dating your arch nemesis's great-great-great-great-great-grandson? But they obviously still have feelings for each other. Finn has denounced his evil side, denounced his heritage, and has been helping them rid the world of this dark power. And finally, we're going to follow Brana and Finn's relationship. And finally, I'm assuming, rid the world of this dark power or have some sort of conclusion to the fight against it, because the series ends and I would assume that there's some sort of conclusion. Anyway, I'm thrilled to be adding the final book in this series onto this TBR and actually finishing a series. That's a rarity around here. So thank you, Timmies TBR, for helping me get this on here. Roll number 5 is a 9, which gets us to the end and a mood read. And our last roll got us to the end, and the end is always a mood read space. In this space, I'm going to put the June pick for B&K Book Club. B&K Book Club is a book club that I run every month with my friend Kelsey over here on Instagram and Discord and BookTube. And we run it completely on Discord as well as doing some sprints here on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. The link to join the Discord is down below. For the month of June, we have decided to read Song of Achilles. I know that this is a Greek mythology retelling, and I know this book is going to make me cry. That is what I know about the book. I actually know literally nothing else about it. But I'm excited to read it with all of you who want to join, and with Kelsey this month in June. Again, all the details are down below. And that is going to be my mood read for the month because I have to read it anyway, and it's perfect to fit in there. So here is my Timmies TBR stack for June, along with Song of Achilles. Also, if I don't finish Hellbent and the Maidens before the end of the month, they will also be added to this stack. But like I said, I still have about a week and a half. I think I'll at least get one or both of these done. I'm not too concerned. What is one book that is on your June TBR? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.